Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast.
The way the policy is written is a contract. And the contract says that you have to disclose all your pre-existing conditions to the best of your knowledge and what could be reasonably expected of you to know about your own history. Something unrelated, completely unrelated happens. The insurance company has the leg to stand on to not pay that claim.
So I get hit by a car,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
and
But because your non-disclosure of an ear surgery
and I have nerve damage in my leg.
and you lose your medical.
Yes.
Because of the ear surgery, the insurance company has the leg to stand on to not pay that claim because of the contract that says you needed to disclose it. Okay. However, each case will be treated completely differently or on its own individual merits, and different insurance companies will treat those claims differently. One will say, "No ways, you didn't disclose. Cheers," and I can name those insurance companies for you. There are insurance companies.
Will you? I'm kidding.
Not online. Book a call with me. Absolutely, I'll tell you in person. There are insurance companies, and I've had this exact thing happen, that will look at the case on its own merits and say, was this related and was it material? No, pay the claim.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is some kind of,
Yeah. But that same insurance
Human
company
touch.
could have said no.
yeah.
But then again, they're running on reputational risk. They're running on, even though were completely in the right, the media shitstorm. excuse my
Yes,
language.
because there is a lot of that in the news lately. Guys not getting policies paid out and actually effectively winning.
Yeah.
Um,
You only hear about the ones where the guy was like, I took Hollard to court and they paid me. You'll hear about those. You don't hear about the 20 others that the other guys try to take Hollard to court and they were like, but we right.
Yeah.
You can't pay this claim. It's invalid. You don't hear about that. And we see a lot of that, not particularly in our, literally, like in our client base. We don't have very difficult claims that are, they generally are quite clear cut. Like I said, so there are companies that will look at the merits of, or will completely exclude it because of non-disclosure, and they have the right to do that. And then there are companies that will look at the merit on that. And I'll give you an example. I had a client that we paid out for stage 2 cancer on the first claim for dread disease. And within that claim process, they came back to us and they were like, but this client had a shoulder injury. Apparently she slipped in the bath. I was like, that's news to me. I didn't know. The client forgot to tell me.
yeah, because I suppose for them it was like
It's a non-issue.
people forget about things.
They really do. I can't remember every injury I've had.
No.
So anyway, this doctor, and this answers your follow-up question, how will they know? So I'm like, well, Blixen, that was news to me. I didn't know she had this shoulder injury. And they were like, we picked it up on the record. Okay, now there's 2 or 3 places that all of your medical history is kept. Number 1 is your medical aid. So most insurance companies will request full medical records for at least 5 years if you submit a claim with them. Okay, so they're going to see it. Second thing is if you've been to a doctor and been diagnosed within the last, don't quote me on this, call it 10 years. It can go back as far as 20 years or ever, okay, that there is a system that the insurance companies and the hospitals and all the medical professionals have actually put together that's got everybody's data on it. It's called the LOA, okay? And basically they can run your ID number through this thing and they can see when you went to the doctor, when you were hospitalized, what accidents, blah, 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 illnesses, et cetera, et cetera. It's all there. I know this is probably scary for people, but it's there.
Wow.
And so they can check that, which that's not always up to date. I can verify that it's not always up to date, but and it often doesn't have anything, especially if you didn't claim from medical aid, especially if you're like friends with a doctor, and there is that, there's those aviation medical doctors that look at you like this and turn around, okay, there's your class 3 medical, or, and there's the other ones that do a proper one as well, which are most of you, I get it. So the point is, they're going to find out. Take it as fact that the insurance company has the resources to find this out.
So you just assume that they will find it out.
Big time. That's the safest way.
So you disclose as much as you can, as far as you can remember, to the best of your knowledge. Is there any way for you to get access to that information to submit to your insurer?
Ahead of time.
Yeah, so let's say I'm applying for a policy.
Yeah.
I can't remember my medical history back
Yeah.
20 years. I mean, it's like, honestly, I can't even remember what I did last Tuesday. Is there any way for you to access the information to review it before submitting a policy, or is it just insurers, doctors, that kind of thing?
Not the LOA system, but definitely your own medical aid details. You can opt to, you can volunteer your own medical aid history to the insurance company and say, this is my medical aid history. You guys need to check this. Most of the time, they don't ask for it up front. They just ask you to pre-disclose any pre-existing conditions. But you can say, well, look, that's everything I think I remember, but please let me get my medical aid history for the last 5 years, or however long, whichever medical aid you have will give you, and you can submit that. Or go through it yourself and check. Okay, I actually did fall in the bath. Anyway, back to my story. They will know, so disclose. Rule of thumb, always disclose everything as much as you can. Back to my story. This client didn't disclose, and benefit of the doubt, she forgot. And the insurance company came back to us and were like, this happened. And I was like, yeah, but did it give her cancer? Yes or no? And they were like, no. So they paid the claim. And they had the right not to. But anyway, they paid that claim. The client recovered. So it was a lump sum disability amount that she got. Client recovered, went into remission and back to work and all those kinds of things. And then obviously it came back, unfortunately. And then it started to get worse, and from stage 3, stage 4, etc. And so we eventually paid the full disability claim, because usually once it gets to stage 4, that's a full disability claim anyway. So it moves from dread disease and income protection to a full disability. And we paid out quite a significant lump sum for her. And then she passed away a couple of months after that. And we were able to then still pay out the death cover as well, the life cover.
Wow.
So, I mean, all of that, which was like north of a few million rand, could have not been paid out based on her having not disclosed her shoulder injury, and the company honored it. So, I mean, like, insurance companies,
There are some good companies out there.
Yeah.
And they're not all like the nameless, faceless, scary people.
Correct.
We think they are.
Correct.
So I've actually got I don't even know where to go from there. I've got so many more questions now. But I'm going to go along. I'm going to go along this one.
Okay.
So I get my cover. Lovely. Pay my monthly premium, XYZ, however much it costs. And something happens to me in a car accident. Traffic in Joburg is crazy at the best of times. I've seen accidents happen in front of me on the way home from work. Could easily just be me. I end up in the back of the ambulance. I get shuttled off to hospital. Not available for the next week. I'm not there. I'm out in a coma. What happens behind the scenes to make sure I'm covered, my family's covered, while I'm, say, indisposed?
First line of defense is to have what we call a life file, and to have your insurance broker's name and number and contact details very accessible to your next of kin. Okay, that's a very good idea to have, along with other information like, passwords and bank account details and all that kind of stuff. Have that on a stored document somewhere, maybe in a accessible wallet online that you can actually use as a vault for those kinds of things. Just know there's online security risks for that, or obviously as a hard copy in your house or wherever you would like to keep it. Again, just understand, if you do this and it gets stolen, I didn't tell you to do anything. This is not like advice, but it is a good line of defense, and make sure that those security measures are in place so that you've got this live file that if something happens and you're incapacitated, that your next of kin or whoever is looking after you at the time is then able to access it and call the right people. Start activating things like, because these things take long, claims take long. So start process of putting up the claim, starting the claim process, getting in touch with the right people, et cetera, et cetera. That's your first line of defense. Let's say that happens let's say something happens, you don't have a live file. And your significant partner has no idea who the insurance was because, you grew up in the 50s and the men do everything. And only his stuff is, only he knows who the broker is. That's a problem, That's what you can do then is start to if you're in the situation, you as a significant other who's had someone in a claim and you don't know where anything is, go speak to a broker, and give them the ID number of that person to be able to kind of start interrogating at different insurance companies to see what's available, maybe your medical aid, maybe your, wherever else, and to be able to try and get that information somehow. Problem with that might be is that, the privacy around the person that's incapacitated hasn't really given authority for his ID number to be run in different places. But, if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, I'm sure a court's not going to look too unfavorably at that.
You just have a power of attorney that's signed off to your wife or someone.
Yeah, it's something else. Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing. News travels as well. So, social media will definitely let the broker know in some way that something's happened to his client or her client. And example, very recently just learned of a pilot that passed away, very sadly. May he rest in peace. In fact, one of my clients, and I immediately looked up who the beneficiary was, found the beneficiary's name and ID number, and where the cell phone number supposed to be stored was no cell phone number. So I immediately then tried to source the beneficiary using social media, trying to find the right person, and was able to do that. So
awesome.
So things like social media, just networking, being in the same industry also helped, because in that specific case, I was able to just ask. I kind of knew where this beneficiary was flying, also a pilot, okay? And I just kind of asked at the same company, do you know who this person is, and can you give me that person's contact number? And was able to do that as well. I actually got the number in 2 different places just because of being in the same industry and using social media.
So you've been alerted to the fact that clients indisposed in this instance, really badly injured. What then happens from a policy point of view? And you said claims take a long time. I'm sure there will be an immediate payout to assist with medical bills, that kind of thing. So can you just explain that process to me, and also what you need from the client to make sure that those policies go ahead and actually do get paid out? And what are we looking at in terms of timeline?
Yeah. So person is indisposed, and we know they're not going to be flying for a little while. Okay. Yeah. That immediately triggers what's called a temporary income claim. Okay. Should that person have that cover on it, on his policy or her policy. Temporary income means that after a certain waiting period, for commercial pilots, it's usually 2 or 3 months. In fact, it's only 3 months now. The 2-month ones are no longer available, sold out. So after 3 months, what will happen then is that the net income or the insured amount will pay out to that person's bank account. Okay, so that's the temporary one. And so that 3-month timeline is from date of incident. So from the date of the car accident in this example, 3 months exactly go by, and then on month 4, the income is paid. That's assuming that within that timeline, we were able to get all the right doctor's reports, we were able to get validation of that claim, okay? And while we will always be super efficient as much as we can. We'll get our turnaround times with the insurance company and with who we need to gather information from can be a total of like 3 days in that time. But understand we're at the mercy of getting doctors' reports, health checks, and like status reports of how badly injured are you, and like, is it going to be temporary? Is it permanent? Is this person going to wake up in the next 2 days? We don't know. So like, there's a lot of that variable information that we need to gather and collect, and usually we get it in 3 months. Not always. But again, we are at the mercy of health professionals who are very busy. They're also busy doing, helping other people, and they don't necessarily want to be filling in insurance forms.
You're not necessarily the priority, and it's the last thing they want to do. Everybody loves paperwork, even doctors.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, giving the doctors and the health professionals out there, big shout out, the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
That, they've got to do a lot of work to, in addition to the actual life-saving stuff they're doing, give us that information so we can submit it to the insurance company and get the claim paid. So that's the first thing that happens. Temporary income, boom. That's the first thing that starts paying. Then does it trigger a dread disease claim / trauma, which can be included? So we'll check. There's an income claim, and there's possibly a lump sum claim because of this trauma or whatever's causing this issue. Is there a brain injury, et cetera, which would ordinarily cause a dread disease claim? And that also basically takes the same amount of time to assess as the first one. And then timeline-wise, the income will pay for a certain time. Prognosis from the doctor says this guy will be out of his coma, back on the line, and ready to fly again 18 months. So the insurance company will say, cool, we'll pay 18 months worth of this thing. He can reapply at the end of that 18 months, get his medical back, go fly. The insurance company will pay until, even while the person's reapplying for their medical, till you get it back. It's maybe that reapplication process is like 3 months because of, the dames only sit once a month. They
have to go to the board, and then they want more information, come back, and then you...
Correct. So
the adult tennis match.
Yeah. So that temporary income claim will pay for as long as you don't have a medical until you get it back.
Yeah.
Okay. For up to 24 months. So there's this 3-month waiting period, claim month 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 24, paying the claim. Okay. Till you get the medical back, whatever that monthly amount is. Possibly there's a dread disease claim which pays the lump sum. Along that 24-month timeline, either going to recover, get your medical back and go fly, or they're going to tell you this is permanent. This concussion that you had, we thought might have been, accessible and you would have been fine within 18 months. We've now seen that there's nerve damage in the brain, blah, 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 whatever it is. This is a permanent invalidation. You're never getting your medical back. In that case.
Rough.
No,
that's rough.
Rough. And what we'll never be able to do is replace your flying. We'll never be able to give you your career back. Okay. But what we will do is give you back the financial stability to be able to make sure that your living situation is secure, make sure that your kids are taken care of, make sure that you and your wife and your family and whoever else is in a healthy, a financially stable environment, which is one of the first steps to a good, healthy environment, to be able to reinvent yourself in some way. Okay. And so what happens at the establishment of permanence is when the lump sum disability, loss of license disability lump sum pays out, and that's there for paying capital expenses. Okay, capital expenses are things like converting the car to a wheelchair car. Maybe you need to build some ramps at your home. Maybe you need to move.
Widen the walls, maybe even,
Widen the walls, different beds, all
bring the countertops down so you can actually access them.
Correct.
It happened to someone I spoke to, I think, like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. Lost medical and had cover and had to convert their place into something that was accessible for them while they rebuild their lives.
Yeah. Wheelchair friendly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a capital expense. It's money you got to fork out from somewhere. It's like you still have to pay the bills, you still have to buy food and school uniforms and whatnot. So that's the income busy paying, and then this capital needs to pay for that sort of stuff, the over and above expenses. What that lump sum also does and supposed to do is to pay out your to cover debt, to kind of just reduce the monthly burden on you, reduce the stress. Okay, cool. The house is paid off. That 10 grand a month that I'm paying towards the bond. Okay, sweet. I don't have to pay that. Cool. Okay. So there's a number of things that lump sum needs to pay out for, and in addition to the lump sum, if you've then got permanent income protection over and above the temporary income and the lump sum, that permanent income protection then starts to pay out up until age 65.
It pays out at what amount?
Pays out at whatever you insured, whatever the amount was on the policy. That maximum amount is what you earn as a net income every month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
So it's what you were earning till 65.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So timeline on that is so they've declared you medically unfit permanently. You've got your lump sum, and now the permanent income starts to pay. Okay, you can't work at least for 5 years, maybe 3 years, whatever. It's going to pay that full net income to you. Okay, obviously you have to choose that total amount. If you decide I'm earning 75 grand a month net, but I'm only going to insure 50, only 50 is going to pay. It's not the full amount. Just understand that. You have to insure the full amount. Starts to pay. If you can be expected to get a job that any reasonable person in your situation. So now you're fine. Like this guy you're talking about, maybe you've started a business doing podcasts, and the podcasts are generating for you a sustainable income. It's not you, by the way. Just, I don't know why I said that. Anyway.
It's all good.
Whatever. You
XYZ podcast company. Yeah.
Yeah, XYZ. You started a business and it started sustaining you over time. Now, most income products will say, okay, well, now you're earning like 30K a month doing this. You were insured for 75K. We're going to top you up. So there's your 30.
Yeah, you're getting that.
We've been able to reinvent yourself, being able from the lump sum that we've paid out, the temporary income that sustained you until now. Now you're able to do something. Perfect. But you're not back at where you were. Okay, cool. We'll top you up. So you're earning 30. We're going to top you up to the 75. And that 75 number is going to increase with inflation every year.
That was my next question.
Yeah. So we keep increasing with inflation every year until age 65. And so whatever you can earn over that time, let's say your earnings are there, the insurance company will top you up to what you were.
So maintain that standard of living.
That standard of living over time. Okay. Which is great. It's a fantastic product. And I can show you the numbers that if you had to build in inflation into your income, let's say even at the age, how old you're old, hey, like 40-ish, right?
Yeah, I'm 36. But
36, sorry, like old, like 36.
My career's aged me hard.
Kidding, man, of course. From age 36 until age 65, at even a average good airline salary, that number, like if you had to guess how many million it is, you'd be wrong because it's much more than that. It's an exceptional amount of money that all of us have the potential of earning between now and when we retire. And that's what we're covering. Like I did one for the other day, like a corporate pilot, even like he earns more than 100K net a month, but we looked at a package of just 100K net a month from age 35 until age 65. It's north of 95 million bucks. Like that 100K a month with inflation till you get there. It's 95 million rand. Like
just on inflation, eh?
Yeah, just on it. That's great. That's really a fantastic product. What that doesn't do for you, and where it's something I recently uncovered, and why the lump sum is so important, is that let's say you get this temporary or permanent income claim. You get your lump sum, whatever it is. But the permanent income claim assumes that you're never going to upgrade because it's got you at senior first officer, right? And even then, there's levels to senior first officer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's command upgrade, and there's levels, 8, 9, however many levels each airline's got. But you claim, and insurance is designed to put you back in the same position financially that what happened at the date of incident. That's the whole ethos of insurance. Put you back in the financial situation the nanosecond before the incident. Okay. Let's say you get the claim and the income's paying. That locks you in. It's at senior first officer level, right?
Yeah.
But for a fact you would have upgraded in 6 months' time. You would have got a promotion, and those increases are not inflation related. Those are skill related and much higher.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to build those in to make sure that you don't shortchange yourself in insurance. Like, make sure that the lump sum. So the only way we can ensure that income shortfall, the upgrade income shortfall, is by giving you a significant lump sum, so that the income's there, claim, income pays out. The lump sum is then, okay, cool. Well, we've taken some of these lump sum expenses out of this lump sum, but there's still a couple million, maybe 2 or 3 million left over that we then invest, and that grows over time, so that by the time you reach 65 or whenever you want to retire, that you've got a proper, the same sort of retirement lump nest egg that you would have had if you had carried on working with a medical.
David, so I think you pretty much covered extensively the whole process. For someone listening to this that may not have any kind of cover in place, is thinking, it's not a good position to be in, got a wife or got kids on the way, whatever it may be. How do they go about getting in contact with you and making sure that they are covered?
Easiest way is put my name into Google. I'm on a number of websites, mostly non-nefarious. No, I'm kidding. You can Google me, absolutely. I mean, I'm involved in so many different events and stuff that my number's listed everywhere. But they can just reach out to me. Send me a WhatsApp, give me a phone call, send me an email, david@pilotInsure.co.za. Send me a WhatsApp, 0733385200. Ask your friends, because most pilots know who I am. I hope. I mean, I'm working very hard at helping making that happen. But ask someone for a referral to either get in touch with me, just because your aviation interests are going to be properly looked after. But also, there are other guys out there, and I'd hate to push any business to my competitors, but look for an aviation-specific financial advisor. There's one other guy out there, Franz Smith, that you should talk to. And then there's others that are trying. But anyway, the best way to do it is find a financial advisor that's got specific aviation experience, so that you know for a fact you're well looked after.
And one last question before we wrap up. What about the pilot community specifically drew you to them and makes you so passionate about wanting to help them?
Okay. Pilots are flipping cool, man. Really. Like, the only difference between a pilot and anyone else who isn't a pilot, especially guys, is that pilots just stuck to the dream from age 3. Everyone else got distracted. I got distracted. That's why I'm not a pilot. Everyone else who's not flying an airplane today, or a fireman, or a
astronaut,
stuck to the dream.
Yeah.
So from age 3, they saw that first airplane go overhead. They realized what it was. It intrigued the heck out of them. And from that day, those people just flipping knew that they're going to be sitting in the pointy end of an airplane and having the best office view in the world. And that, to me, is super admirable. and super, like, it's super admirable. There's no two ways about it. Like, I just love the fact that pilots are that dedicated and that, another word for dedicated, towards their whole life and approach to their life and their career and everything. And it comes through in every facet of a pilot's life. When you speak to them, they've generally got like their ducks in a row. They've generally got like a healthy relationship with other people. They've generally got all these things. And I'm saying general, there's oaks and other people out there that don't really. But like when I see a pilot and I I just admire the fact that they've stuck to the dream. That's who they are.
David, just want to say thanks very much for being our inaugural guest on the show. It was great to have you here and have you in the studio, and no doubt look forward to having very many more discussions with you in the future.
Dan, it's been an absolute privilege, and I can't tell you how grateful I am to be able to get on a platform like this, to be able to reach as many more pilots as possible. And thank you very much for everything that you're doing for aviation. I mean, this is an absolutely noble effort and I think the whole ethos, and I think you need to explain it, behind the Pilot podcast is to help pilots. It's to be able to bridge the gaps, fill the holes, trying to figure out what that's why you guys started this part of the podcast, right?
Just to make the journey easier.
To make the journey easier, so that the other pilots don't have to bump their heads and pay the same school fees that you did and you've seen so many other pilots have to do, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I think the next podcast has to be a founder, director, or Mickey. Give us some insight into the whole background and ethos about what we're trying to achieve here. And I'm glad to have you on and also have you part of that journey. And I know you're going to help a lot more people moving forward in future.
Thank you so much. Before we sign off,
yes.
I just want to say one of the big things that also within the Pilot Insure philosophy is to do exactly this type of thing and use different platforms to be able to get the message out there. And one of the things that I specifically do, and I'm well supported by my business partners and everybody else in the industry, is the safety symposiums that we do.
Yeah.
It's an awesome, quite a big event that we move around the country. So in fact, this Thursday, by the time you see this, will probably have already happened. But the Rand Airport one is usually in the middle of the year. We're doing the 3rd annual Rand Airport Safety Symposium. We've already got 97 when I left home, 97 registrations for this Thursday's event. I've got 4, including me, amazing speakers to be able to deliver safety messaging and all that kind of stuff at the event to the pilot community. And who attends? Student pilots, instructors, charter pilots. We've got some of the big wigs. They know who they are from some of the big operators at Rand Airport attending. I've got very good personal relationships with a lot of them. I'm looking forward to hosting all of them there, and everyone else, aviation enthusiasts, everybody, please come along. I know this is a bit late because the event's probably happened, so read about it. But basically, we've got the Rand Airport one, and then coming up in December is the Vonderboom one. And the Vonderboom one is on the 2nd of December at Villa San Giovanni, and we fill up the entire restaurant. Awesome. Again, new speakers, there's prizes, sponsors, all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool. So, and then second last thing I want to say, we're launching Cape Town Safety Symposiums, and we're going to be doing it in the ExecuJet hangar on the 6th of November at Cape Town Airport. We're going to literally create a beautiful restaurant scene inside the hangar with some stunning flippin' kit around us. And then again, safety. And the last thing I want to say is safety talks are great.
Yeah.
Super boring. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares. Like they've all heard it the same, they've heard the same spiel over and over again. Weather, ducks, drones,
lasers.
Lasers
is always a hot topic.
Lasers, all the stuff. Okay. Super important, but people switch off. Okay.
Sure.
So what I like to do is I like to bring the safety element in, and it has to be a key point of the whole event. But then I also bring in inspiration and success. What did these speakers do differently? What success factors did they employ in their career to ensure that they weren't just at the bottom of the pile, that their CV was at the top of the pile, that they got the gig on the 120 and then the 7.3 very quickly. What things, and not just studying and being diligent and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking like, what did you do? Did you go and wash airplanes? Like while you were doing your PPL, you know? Are you on the social media? Are you like, there's so many things you can be doing to put yourself out there and get in front of the right employer or start the right business, whatever. But like each of my speakers has to have some kind of niche element that help them become more successful so that, and exactly the same way and the same philosophy as this podcast, will be able to help the other guys out there just elevate their game a little bit and become safer pilots, better, safer pilots, flying more often.
Yeah, it's great. You can learn from the lessons of others.
Correct.
So you didn't have to, go through the same kinds of things that I feel like we all did. So it's awesome initiative, and I don't see why we can't share it on our socials as well. Bring attention to it, and I know I'll try to be there if we can be there, whether it's Cape Town or Wonderboom. It sounds like something I definitely like to attend. Emic.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This Thursday, see you there. Rand Airport.
Good.
Free pizza, by the way. All of them have free pizza.
I am sold.
That's also why we get so many registrations, not just the
Definitely student pilots. Hear the word free pizza, they're in. Dave, thanks again. And we'll definitely have you on the show again in future, and looking forward to it. We'll catch you at the Safety Symposium.
I've really enjoyed it. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, man.